That's a good way to test.
Yeah.
You just move your hands fluidly.
Oh, I mean, all right. It seems like it's going okay.
Seems like it's going okay now. Maybe it was the double. Maybe it was the double webcam footage or something like that.
Okay, all right.
I'm tired.
Hey, welcome to Ultra Chen TV. It's the Tuesday show. I'm Ultra David.
I'm Sajam.
Tasty Steve.
And I'm James Chen. How's everybody going?
Thanks for not doing it again. Let's talk about Evolution 2016, which was this past weekend, and that's why we're tired, and it was fantastic, and all sorts of good words about it.
Yeah.
Are you okay there,
Look at this guy.
Oh, it's actually a genuine yawn. I'm sorry. Oh, I felt it.
Uh-huh. All right.
Are you burping him? What are you doing right now?
You gotta make sure he's got it all out.
I know, right?
Someone's jealous.
That was kind of creepy. But...
You guys are having a moment? Yeah, go. No, you know what?
Nothing right now.
You know what? Can I just say, the way you looked this way and slid into Eris was the most fantastic thing about Evo Top 8.
Let me tell you, Steve. So I gave Eris a hug at the end of it. As soon as I found out that I was commentating with Eris.
You already knew.
As soon as I found out, I knew that I was going to go in for the hug.
Yeah, 100%.
And not only that,
and I didn't tell anybody about this plan.
Good.
It was secret. I didn't want to take any chance that he would catch on to it.
I think you mentioned it to me.
Did I?
But I'm
you
a
goofed.
Fine.
You goofed.
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah, but you did the amazing hug too.
That was
like
I got right underneath there.
That's the one he doesn't like. What he says, he calls
the
it
double underhook.
I know.
Belly to belly.
It's like a forklift.
That's right. Yeah, and I brought his face over to me. I started the day off when I saw him there. It was 7 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning when I got there, and his beard was all nice and kempt. It was perfectly done, and it looked great. And I made a nice remark on it, and I was like,
stalking your prey.
Can't wait to get closer to that.
Did you say that to him?
He knew it was gonna be rough. He was like, man, top 8's gonna suck.
Don't you do it, Davey. I can just hear him saying.
Oh, I did it. Anyway, so that was my gig. I did MKX top 8. Well, I don't know if we want to start off with Sunday. Do you want to just start off with general? How'd you feel about Evo?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
How was Evo for you?
First.
Who wants to start?
Go for it. You talked already.
Okay, so I really liked Evo. It was really crazy because I did a lot, and just the amount of traveling back and forth, which I thought would be a lot harder, was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. More importantly, it was just the amount of work that goes into such, not even a production, an event itself. I was actually worried at first. I was like, we got this con hall where they do conventions. I was like, there's no way we're going to fill up all the space. And then it was like, man, it's like cramped in here. Like, you can't even move around. And
I actually don't think we can do Evo again next year.
I don't see how it's going to be possible.
At that spot?
It's
I don't think that's possible.
Well, don't forget that there's more rooms. That the convention center is gigantic.
Right, that's true. They could have
put it in another room.
Yeah, that's true.
But that exact space, I think it's too small for next year.
Yeah. Just the foot traffic alone. Like, I feel like, remember the year before, I believe they had the casuals hall and then they had a vendor hall.
Separate. Yeah.
I think that might be better. But what do I know? I feel like you're taking away from other people's experience if you do that. Regardless, it was just, like I said, I was happy the amount of people. The space seemed managed pretty well, and like overall it was just a good event. Like Sunday took the cake for me. Like, I was amazed. Like, I didn't go into this expecting bad things, but on the same note, I was like, it should be cool. And then I walked in, and like the spectacle itself was like, okay, this is definitely happening now. I guess we're up there now. So I really liked it overall.
Yeah, I think I'll get to Sunday at the end, but generally I felt like the space at Evo for Friday and Saturday was not super fantastic. I felt like there was like issues obviously with space and everything. Besides that, I felt like all the tournaments were pretty great.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun watching everything. We all did a lot of work. Yeah. I feel like I didn't get to talk to nearly as many people as I would have liked. So Friday, me and him opened on Capcom Fighters, and that was all the commentary I had all day. I had 2 hours. On Saturday, I did 12 hours.
Dang.
Really? That's how
I didn't realize that.
Dang.
So Friday, I had like all day to like hang out, and Saturday, I just had like a bunch of commentary.
Yeah.
I had like a ridiculous amount. So Friday was my day where I was like, all right, I have to do everything. I have to enjoy everything. Because Saturday I'm Dunzo, and then Sunday is Mandalay.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, I gotta like this is it. I thought it was really great on Friday and Saturday. The tournaments. Obviously, there was issues with like seating and like it took until midnight for like all the games to end, and yeah, that was kind of brutal.
I mean, it was kind of scheduled to do that.
Yeah, it was, but it was rough.
Yeah.
It was kind of rough, but you could really tell that I think a lot of the polish and shine in this event was spent on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it definitely was crazy. I was really worried that Sunday was not going to be good. I was scared. I was skeptical. Yeah. And I walked into the arena, and I was like, instantly, I was like, yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
I was like, all my worries were gone instantly. I was like, Sunday looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So you could tell that there was a lot of time and effort spent on that.
Yeah, shout out to the production staff. They did a great job of making sure.
Shout outs, I never thought I'd say this in my life. Evo was held together by Hanzo Gonzo.
Yeah, it was
Yo,
a big
shout
part
outs
of
to
it.
Hanzo.
Who is a goddamn hero.
He was a huge part of it.
If he wasn't such an amazing person and held everything together Friday and Saturday, I think we'd all be dead.
Yeah, because I was working with him doing like the entire day. Like me and him were like best friends. Like I walked in there and he was like, "Hey, blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Blah blah blah blah," and I just sat
Great
there on
point,
the side of
Steve.
the stage all day. So shout out to Hanzo. I just agree.
Yeah, he was basically since Friday and Saturday, Seglia and Spencer were setting up Mandalay Bay, and so like all the production people. So it was Hanzo Gonzo's job to hold down production, tournaments, all that kind of stuff. He did it. That guy is a hero.
Yeah.
At like 5 feet tall.
According to Fire Knife 360, Evo had 180,000 square feet, but the convention center in total has 3.1 million square feet of space.
Exactly. There's a lot of space there.
Potential expansion. I don't know. what
Okay,
that's
look,
like.
when we were walking through there was at least like 5 conventions going on at the same
Yo,
time. Right?
to walk from the front
That
to
was
the
so-
back where Evo was a 10-minute walk.
Yeah.
To
In
get
the building.
to get from our hotel to Evo. Was,
We
was
left.
far.
We left. Remember, we met up. So we met up on Friday morning because we were all starting right at 8. So we had to be there at a certain time, and we left like half an hour in advance or something
Yeah.
to walk there, and it's the building immediately next door. It's
Takes a
just
while.
that to get actually through the snaking building is a while.
that was
Huge.
Yeah, you know what was great though is as you take that walk, you walk past the LVH, well previously LVH, where Evo was 2 years ago, and you get to see the ballroom that Evo was in.
That's true.
So
you
we
do.
got to walk through. It was kind of like, it's like in video games when you go through an area the second time, and you're like, man, this area was so whack.
Yeah.
This was
Like,
so
so easy.
Yeah, this was so easy. Like,
Like
you
level 5s.
All of a sudden you have the double jump and the dashes.
Yeah,
and
you're
this
like,
is
yeah,
so
like,
weird.
you're like-
dungeon in the MMO. You're
Yeah,
like,
you're like
I can't
tra-
believe I struggled here
What is
once.
this?
This sucks.
Yeah, you're traversing through it, and you're like, this is for low tier nerds.
a bunch of
Like,
Murlocs and stuff.
yeah, so you just go through there, and then you get to like Evil this year, and it was like that. That was pretty awesome feeling. I think. Like I literally walked here, and I was like, "Hey, TJ Combo was first playable in this corner 2 years ago."
Wow. Okay. Oh man. Oh well. I mean, just kind of address the venue space.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the guy in the chat. What was it? Fireside? You said it was, or Firelight, or whatever. It's like 180,000 square feet, right? I don't like. It just the growth was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I just don't even think they were
Fire Knife.
Fire Knife. I just don't even know if it was like even Evo was kind of expecting it, you know?
Yeah.
And I talked to some of the guys about it. I talked to Mark Man a little bit and such, you know. Like, I personally even felt that obviously this kind of increases the convention feel of it, which I know a lot of people are kind of, you know, like worried about or whatever. But honestly, now that you're getting that many people in there, I actually do feel like there needs to be a bigger artist alley. I feel like there needs to be that space where the vendors are. I feel like needs to be a little bigger.
Not
So-
only that, but the vendor lines were so.
Oh, dude. I didn't
It was-
even get to go to the arcade shop booth
So,
one day. It was so long.
the
Like,
main-
not one day.
The main Evo apparel line was like 2 to 2.5 hours. The arcade shock line, chef stood in it for 3 hours and 15 minutes. to
Are you
get through it.
serious?
It took him
Dude.
3 hours and 15 minutes to get from back of the line to front.
Wow.
That's nuts.
To buy some buttons and an arcade stick and a shirt.
Yeah.
3
That line
hours
was
and 15 minutes.
ridiculous the entire
Yeah,
day.
I mean, it was pretty crazy, and I obviously even those guys now have to think about upscaling, like hiring more staff to be able to sell shirts, to be able to sell buttons, and sell a bunch of stuff. I know the Daigo book disappeared in like 10 minutes.
I got one.
Yeah.
Did you get one, Steve? Okay.
I got
Did you
one.
get one, David?
No, I didn't try.
Oh, you didn't even try. Oh, okay. But yeah, it was crazy, and so it really is starting to feel like that. You know what? Maybe we just kind of have to accept the fact that it's kind of going half convention at this point in time and half tournament. Because not only that, too, a lot of people are showing up there. A lot of people are showing up who don't play fighting games, you know, who don't actually play. They just want to come and watch.
Right.
They like
Come
watching
hang out.
it.
Yeah.
Right?
Which is crazy now for me.
Or like maybe people who play, but they're not seriously competitive.
Yeah, so they just want to come watch the tournament.
One of my best friends of all time texted me and was like, I really want to come to EVO, but I don't play fighting games, so I don't know if I'll have anything. I was like, dude, like, come.
No problem.
You will have no problem.
You probably had more fun than us.
Yeah.
It was all working and
Yeah.
didn't get to see all of you both.
And honestly, like, expanding that venue area, I think, would kind of do it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And
Most
even,
definitely.
even Markman was saying, he's like, he got so many applicants for, like, the Artist Alley and stuff like
Interesting.
that. The indie booth could probably accept more games
Oh, yeah, I
and stuff
bet.
like that. And all sorts of craziness. So, you know, at first, I was kind of in the same boat as everyone. Like, I don't want this to become a convention. But
But
after
we
seeing,
don't have a choice.
after seeing what it was this year, I think that's the right thing to do, actually. You know, and it really is. It's a giant celebration of fighting games.
Yeah.
Because no matter what, it's like the artists have to do with fighting games. All the stores they're selling things are all fighting game shirts, like this beautiful Hisako from
That's really cool.
'86. You know, and
That shirt is sick. I don't even have that
Why
shirt.
didn't I get that shirt?
I wore the cami shirt yesterday, dude. The cami shirt from '86 is ridiculous, and I'm
They
not
also have
even.
a spinal
I'm
one, it's
not
really
even.
good.
I'm not saying that just because they didn't pay me anything. Okay, I'm literally that cami shirt is like the best cami shirt that I've seen
It's
in
really
a
cool.
long time.
Okay, just
So-
quick side note about this. I tweeted about this,
Mm-hmm.
but as I was, because you know there's cheers and bits on and
Yeah,
Evo.
yeah.
So as I was doing segues for top 8, people were cheering for me. They would give me cheers for it, so I was literally making money selling out.
Wow, you were making money while making money for other people.
Yeah. So I was making money being like, and check out Vertigear. Like, they were sending me cheers. And I never even thought about that until, like, I got home and
That
someone
is
said,
How
kind
do
of
you
weird.
check?
Yeah.
Did I get
Yeah,
cheers?
yeah. How do you check?
you could see it in the chat.
Oh,
It
you
says,
haven't
like,
checked
cheers.
like twitch.tv/SayJam or whatever. I don't even
I
know
have
what
no
Twitch is.
idea how to get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
But people told me, they're like, yeah, everybody in the chat was like doing cheers for when you did whatever.
That's
So
so
I
cool,
went back
man.
and looked at the chat and I was like, that can't be true. So like the first thing I did, and it was like,
Oh, the chat is there.
Oh,
now.
that's
Yeah,
right. That's right. You can watch.
the reach chat is there.
that's
So it was
right.
like, it was like the first thing I did. Someone was like 100 cheers for like Sajam for that, and I was like, somebody just give like MOV like 20, and they
Yeah.
gave me like 100. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
So, the concern for me coming into Evo was that I wasn't sure it would feel like Evo. I expected it not to feel like Evo, to be more accurate.
Yeah.
I went into the event thinking this will not feel like it's for me. It'll feel like it's for the people who are new, which is great, you know. But I felt like it would not be for me, who I've been going to Evo for 12 years, forever. I thought that I would have to go to events like CEO and Combo Breaker to feel how Evo used to feel. So that was my concern, and it was more than a concern. It was my expectation. And then when I got there, it felt like Evo.
Okay.
And that was really good news for me. I was so prepared to be bummed out, even though it was my expectation. I was still gonna be bummed. It really didn't feel like Evo, and it did. It did feel like Evo. So that was really happy about that. Part of it was probably that I didn't even step foot in the vendor area.
Yeah.
I literally walked around it
Oh,
every
right,
single
yeah,
time.
yeah,
So I have no experience with what was in there. I didn't experience the con aspect like at all. Because of that, I walked directly to where people were playing and watching video games.
And that was the same as usual, pretty much.
Same as usual. I mean, the layout was not ideal. Maybe we can talk about problems with it later, but the layout was definitely not ideal. There were certainly some things that they could do better next time, or in a different spot depending on what happens. But yeah, it definitely felt like Evo, and I was certain that Sunday would not. I was certain it would not feel like Evo.
Right,
I was
right.
I was so ready for that. And then yeah, I walked in there, and I was like, "This is pretty sick."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my exact reaction.
This is actually pretty sick. And then once it got started, so I started off the day, and that felt basically like normal commentary to me.
Yeah.
And then once I was done with that, I went to go watch with everybody else in like the lower bowls and stuff, and that felt legit just like Evo.
Oh yeah.
It really did.
Okay.
I was being loud and ornery with folks. and we were betting, and we were all yelling, and so was everybody else, and like it was like we were in the pit, but we were in stadium seats.
Yeah.
For me at least, I don't know how everybody else's experience was, but that was my experience, and that was so good. I can't tell you how happy I was that was how it felt. I was so concerned, but I really did like it. I thought it was awesome. It was inspiring, and I walked away from it without the post-Evo blues in a way that I almost never ever have, because I just felt like we did a really good job, and I feel like I left it all there. Like I didn't. Last year, most years, I come back and I'm like, man, the commentary could have gone better or whatever. My role could have been better, but this year I feel like I did a really good job, and I felt like almost everybody else did too. Again, there were some organizational issues. I'm sure they'll get to that, but especially when it came to Sunday, it was out of the park, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday felt super
Awesome.
well planned. To me, that it seemed like a lot of the time and effort was spent on Sunday, and you could tell, and it was really, really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I just feel like, I guess since I've been there, since B4, B5, and everything like that, the giant leaps that Evo has taken, I've kind of already expected these kind of things, right? Like, we went from an arcade to a convention center. We went from arcade cabinets to consoles. We went from, so, like, I'm kind of used to these crazy big steps happening
Natural
for
regression.
Evo.
Yeah.
Right. But honestly, I feel like Evo this year had the same weakness that it has had like the last few years. It's just that they were not ready for that many people.
Yeah.
It just got like they increased the size, but they didn't do it enough.
Well, I'll tell you,
You know,
it wasn't
in a
just
weird
that.
way.
It was that there were streams that had no big screen, so people
Yeah,
could not
yeah,
watch.
yeah. Uh-huh.
There weren't enough chairs, so people could be able to watch. Stuff like that. That definitely could have gone better.
Right, but also keep in mind that this is now a convention center, right? So this is no longer the hotel. So they don't have the hotel video crew in there. They basically have to get like their own video crew and their own setup crew and everything. Like everything changed, and apparently the convention center is owned by the city of Vegas. So like way more craziness has to happen than ever imagined.
Regulation and whatnot.
Yeah, and so. Yeah, maybe next year they hire a 3 times bigger video staff so they can set up, instead of just the 3 big screens on Saturday and Friday, have like maybe 6 of them or something. It's just, again, they tried to be really fair. In fact, someone calculated it and noticed that between all the streams, like the big screen time was pretty fair for everybody, but again, there's just too many games. There's too many people. So, for me, I just think it's just going to be a situation where they're just going to have to keep growing, keep getting more.
Yeah, they have to put more resources into that side
Yeah,
of it.
exactly. So.
Yeah, for sure. But anyway, that was my only complaint about it, really. Other than that, I thought everything was A-okay and fantastic. I was super happy with it.
Yeah, having too many people is not really that huge of a problem.
It's a good
for
sign.
fighting it. Yeah,
It's a good
So,
sign.
right, it's a good problem.
yeah, it's a good problem.
I mean, especially considering some of the examples we've seen with too many people earlier in the tournament, in the tournament side.
Yeah, I will say that.
It was like CEO felt like that too. Actually,
Yeah,
it was like
uh-huh.
very similar.
That I was actually really happy that I actually got cold every once in a while in the convention center because the air conditioner worked really well despite the fact that it was 115 degrees outside.
It's true.
So,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't complain
Was.
about.
Yeah.
I didn't complain about the air in the convention center.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
At all.
uh-huh.
Even on Sunday. It
On
was
Sunday,
freezing in there.
Sunday, I was dying. Like I
Were you
legit,
cold?
I went into one of the rooms up in the sky part. I was
Yeah.
like, I can't handle this, and I legit just covered myself in the couch pillows, and I fell asleep. Like that's what happened.
That's smart, man. I wish I had taken a nap. I really intended to take a nap,
I did too.
and then everything was just too exciting. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I got up at 6 in the morning, and then I was supposed to commentate the Red Bull thing at the end of it, which was going to go until like 1 in the morning.
The Red Bull after party, right?
Yes. Which ended up not being a thing anyway, but I stepped away from it because I was just falling asleep, man.
You were like falling asleep when I saw you at the end there.
Yeah, it
You
was
were
ridiculous.
I've been up for so long, man. Like,
Yeah.
Like what, 18 hours or something crazy
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
By the
But-
time Street Fighter happened.
Yeah, exactly. But shout outs to everybody who was on the production crew because they got way less sleep even than we did.
Yes.
And I know that, for example, I don't know, I'm sure everybody was like this, but Hanzo Gonzo told me that he saw something at 6. He saw a tweet of mine at 6 in the morning when I got up, and then he went to sleep, and then he slept for an hour, and he was there before 8 when the thing started.
Jeez.
I know even one of the
Dang.
judges, like one of the TOs, slept like 2 hours
That's a
in
lot of
between like
pressure.
Friday and Saturday, you know, and that was just to help run the brackets and things like that. That wasn't even the production crew. I mean, I think one of the things that, you know, really has to be understood is that Evo has gotten to that scale now where there are just way more moving parts than can possibly imagine. You know, I had some people tweeting at me. I think we had some people like saying like, oh, maybe on Sunday we should have talked a little bit more about the 2 players who were traveling to Evo and got into the car accident, right? I don't even know if the Evo staff knew about that.
Yeah,
Like, how would they even know about it? Because they're barely ever checking social media.
Yeah, they basically go off the
day.
radar during that period of time.
They have so much going on.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about that later on in the show because I have every intention to bring that up.
Yeah, gotta talk about it.
But
Unfortunate.
but it's just the moving parts level of it. So I talked to some of the guys, some of the production. I was like, "How did you think it went?" And like Seglia and all these other guys, they were just like, "Man, I think it could have been better. We made some mistakes." I know Spooky was upset with himself and stuff, and I was just like, "Dude, the amount that we grew from last year to this year," and someone even showed a great side-by-side picture of last year and this year. The fact that the arena did not explode, I think, is just like the success. You know, honestly, because there was so many ways everything could have went worse and just gone horribly, and it didn't. And
Have you guys seen the ESPN broadcast at all?
I don't
No.
know. I
I have
haven't.
not had a chance yet.
I've heard nothing but good things
I was
about
gonna say
it.
I've only heard good things. But
Yeah.
I have a
actually
DVR
watched it
upstairs.
myself. Yeah, okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna
Yeah,
go
I have-
watch it.
I have a DVR too.
Yeah.
I don't have a
I don't have ESPN, but I asked my parents to DVR.
That's what I did. My dad DVR'd it for me, so I'm gonna go watch it
nice,
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool.
It's also online if anybody has ESPN online.
That's true.
And I have heard that there was obviously audio issues on our stream. We were echoey on the ESPN broadcast. You could hear us,
Yeah,
and
you
we were
could.
distracting.
Apparently, people could not hear the crowd very well. at
Yeah,
all.
like
Yeah.
I was doing stage stuff and I was getting tweets the entire time like, "Hey, it just sounds like you're talking to nobody." It's like you would ask a
Yeah.
question. Like that, I said I was like one of the specific instances. I was like, "Who wants blah 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 to win?
Yeah.
Who wants blah blah blah
Yeah.
to win?" That's what I like to hear. But
Silence.
there was so I was just like, and people were tweeting me, and I'm like, "Look, guys, they're really into it."
No, I
You just
actually-
can't
They
hear
really
it.
were. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually heard that. Like, I was sitting there, we were like watching the stream, and Steve's like, make some noise, and it's like nothing. And Steve's like, that's what I like to hear. And I was like, the crowd was not mic'd, I guess. And then we showed
Yeah, it
up.
wasn't.
I expected, so when I heard that, I was like, either the crowd wasn't mic'd or it's like way less people there because it's early. So then like I showed up, and then like he did that for something else. And the crowd was so loud. I was
it
like,
was-
obvious. Okay,
Dude,
so
the way that sounds
It was so
up there,
loud.
like at first, like I'm gauging it now. Like now I can gauge it because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And normally it's like a "Rrr," and I'm like, okay, that's sick. And then it's like a "Rrr," and I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick. But when I was in that stadium,
Yeah.
it was legit like a
raining down
scream
on
bubble.
you.
It was like, "Rrr," and then I floated away in the scream bubble. It was sick.
The scream button.
he was just circled and surrounded.
It was just sounds, and I was just floating like, this is sick.
He was like
you know?
going. He was like the witch from Wizard of Oz. He just
Yeah.
going in.
The good witch, yeah.
But
I did hear that on the ESPN broadcast. Apparently, the audience was super loud.
Yeah.
On the Twitch stream, it wasn't, but then I heard it got better during
Yeah.
the course of
Yeah.
the
Okay.
day.
Not only that, but during Guilty Gear, we listened to the American stream, and it was like radio silence. All it was like commentators, very low game audio. And then we went to a Japanese stream,
and it was crazy good.
and the crowd was so loud, like
So
it was
weird.
crazy.
I
Yeah,
wonder what
so
the difference
there was
was.
some weird.
But
The
I mean,
production
the thing
situation
about
there.
it was a lot of people tweeted me at it. They were like, "Tell them to fix the audio."
Yeah, I got
So
that
like
too.
I walked
Me too.
all the way down to because I was off to the side, right? I was sitting in the general area, so I was like, all right, fine. So I walked all the way down there and I sat next to Chris Lee, and I was like, hey, Chris Lee, I don't know if you can handle this. He's like, if this is about the audio, I'm gonna punch you. And I was like,
walk
fair
away.
enough.
Yeah.
And he was like, we are working on it as
Yeah.
we speak. We are trying.
That's funny.
Like, a lot of people don't, like, most people think that when they do that, then it's like, oh, they don't care, or they're not going to tell them, like, blah. No, they're aware, they're trying to fix
Yeah.
it. And so I tweeted out, I was like, they're trying to fix it.
That's funny.
Because Chris literally told me that, can you at least let people know we're trying
Okay.
to fix this
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
now?
I passed it
Yeah.
along. I even tweeted it, and
Yeah.
they said exactly what I told you guys. So
Man, I saw Chris Lee one time. Well, I saw him a bunch of times, but I said hello to him only once. And it was the one time I saw him out of like 10 times that I saw him, he was just looking at his phone. Every single other time, he was like yelling at somebody, or like the security was with him, or like somebody from the venue was like chatting him up, or whatever. I saw him texting, and I was like, hey buddy, I'm only gonna take up 10 seconds of your time. Happy to see you. Hope life is good. Enjoy. Yeah, and he was like, I really appreciate that. I hope you're doing all right. That was it. That was
You
it.
just gotta scram before.
I'm out of here.
Like, yeah, you gotta get out of his way. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It
Chris
doesn't
is,
like that.
Chris is a
Super.
good person.
He's a
He's a super
fantastic
good
guy.
person. So some people are saying like maybe his Twitter responses aren't very good or whatever like that. But dude, the role that he has to play at Evo, like
He's the enforcer.
he's the enforcer.
He's the enforcer.
Yeah.
You know?
He literally has to.
He's a giant guy. And he,
Dude, one of my favorite
That's his
stories
role.
was at Evo East where they had the Yaris cars there, right? So someone wanted to watch one of the monitors, so the guy climbs on the bumper of the Yaris car and like starts to climb on the car, right? And Tom Cannon walks by and is like, "Can you please get off the car?"
yeah.
And the guy just looked at him and was like, "Whatever," and stayed on the car. And so Tom was like, "All right." Gestures over to Chris Lee.
Yeah.
Chris Lee walks over there, stares at the guy. The guy's like, "Oh crap!" And he got off the car.
He's a big man. There's no doubt. Anyway.
I mean, yeah.
Anyway. Well, is that it for sort of general thoughts? Hotel's ass. Westgate sucks.
Yeah, Westgate sucks. It's
Westgate
not even a
sucks.
real hotel. When you pull up to the Westgate, the sign on top looks like it was done.
it was
it
done
looks,
on a bed sheet.
No, this is what it looks like. Let me tell you what
like on a bed sheet.
Let me tell you what the Westgate sign looks like. It looks like David was putting it together for one of the slides that he uses
You know what's funny?
for the Adequate Adventures and all this crap. It looks worse than that by 10 times.
I had that exact same thought
Because it's
when I
literally
first saw it. I saw it up there and I was like, that's something I would do.
it's literally like
That's nice.
It's like
oh my god, that's horrible.
That's like horrible. It's like a black strip like this, like pasted
Yeah,
on
yeah,
top. Just a big black strip, and then it says Westgate in gold letters. And when we were rolling
Most
up,
default font possible.
yeah, it was like Times New Roman, and it was just like up there. So when we're rolling up, like Rip said out loud, "Is that a temporary
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I thought
sign
too.
placement there?" And then
Nah.
we looked, and it said like Westgate on like this thing, and it had the same
Logo,
awful
the same
logo,
font,
and
yeah,
I was like, "Rip, that's real." That's
is
the
how
most
they do it.
terrifying
Yeah.
thing
I
I've
also
ever.
thought that was a tarp. I legitimately thought.
I thought it was like
You
under
know,
construction or something.
When I
right?
saw it, it looked like it was like one of those Universal Studios buildings in the comic book zone. Like it was supposed to be like a comic book, like
Yeah.
but like done cheaply to look like and be bright yellow so it stood out like
Yes.
kapow.
It was like
you
the
know?
background of a video game before it's rendered. So it's like you haven't reached that area, so it's so far away that it hasn't like popped in yet.
Right.
That's what this looked like from far away, and I was
He's
like,
right.
"This is gonna be a great time." But Westgate sucked.
That's pretty much how the
So
hotel
bad.
was. Just that's a nice microcosm of the hotel.
yeah. Well,
Some people stayed in the Mandalay Bay, which is great.
It's very
Very
far
nice.
from the
Super-
convention center.
The maximum farness away while
Yeah.
still being on strip.
Yeah, no, that's where I stayed the second night. I was like, cause
Saturday night.
yeah, well, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, okay.
and Stickman, the question that you asked is how many non-gamers watched on ESPN besides Bill Walton?
I don't know.
Your
they
homie
asked-
Bill Walton.
My homie
Your
Bill
dude.
Walton. I
Him
basically
and James
was
go way
sitting
back.
next to him and telling him all about the stories of every game, all the way through Smash, pretty much, like the entire time. And then we would do. It was so crazy too, because you could tell he was like super professional. Like I would just be talking with him, and then he actually looked at me and was like, "Don't ever begin sentences with this phrase that you use on it."
Oh, really?
I was like, "Don't ever do that." And I was
Wait,
like,
what was it?
I know, right? I'm interested.
the phrase "to be honest."
Oh.
Or to tell you the truth, because
Yeah.
he says it makes it sound like you've been lying for the rest of the time. And I was like,
Yeah,
holy
James.
crap. And I say that all the time, to be honest, to tell you the truth.
Bill
He
Well,
was
you do.
scolding you.
helping you out.
Yeah.
You're like, so to be honest about Mewtwo King, he's like, I don't knock that off. You tell me the truth.
Yeah, and then when we were doing
That's
like
cool.
some interviews for some of the players and everything like that, and then he just started yelling questions out, and like he just asked like the best questions. Like he got like good stuff out.
Damn, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Dude, I was like, I'm not worthy, dude.
He's been doing it for a little while.
I saw that ESPN interview he did, like the small one.
Yeah.
Man, I was just enthralled. I was like, man, I want to do this. Like, I didn't even know. I'm like, man, this is crazy good.
Yeah.
It's like I felt like he did, like, you know how like they do commercials and then they say, now to you, Bob, and it's like a small delay. Like, I feel like that's not even there in real life. Like, I feel like you do that just to get like Steve. It's like, we go live to Steve, and you're like, how you doing, Tom? I feel like you have to do it on purpose now. Like, there's nothing else. Like, I've learned. It was like a 2-minute thing, and I was like, man, I see why this guy. Because it's like at first I didn't care, but now I'm just like, he's talking about video games. Can I have this power, man?
Dude, he's ridiculous. Dude, I'm telling you right now, like, you know they're tall. You know they're tall,
Yes.
When I
right?
saw the picture of you guys next to each other, I
Dude,
was-
James looked like a child,
Dude,
wanting his father to pick him up. He was like, Daddy, please.
Prog did an intro video with him where it's literally Prog's face and just the ESPN Esports logo, and they pan out and it's on his shirt. And it's Bill Walton standing there.
God.
Dude, you don't understand. Like, he could not sit in the stadium seats. They had to bring in the regular chairs and stack 3 of them on top of each other so he could sit down on it. And even one of the stadium like workers came and was like, you can't stack the chairs on top of each other, like while he was like out doing something else, and we're like, no, you have to leave these here. Like, we cannot take these away.
If Bill comes back and you move the chairs,
Yeah,
it's
I
over
know.
for us.
No, because every time he stood up, it was like one of those things where you like those movies where you try to pick a fight with someone and then
Yeah.
they stand up
Like Kung
and
Fu
you're like,
Hustle.
oh my god, yeah, and dude, that guy was-
automobile that I can afford.
Which your deal?
This is the largest.
That was so good.
I couldn't.
No more.
There was a picture of Daigo next to him,
Yeah,
and the caption on Daigo. So Daigo tweeted it was from Daigo's account, and the caption is just like 100 and whatever cent, like however tall he is. And I was like, man, Daigo was a little human next to him.
Dude,
It was
You know, being
terrifying.
that height is probably terrible if you're not.
I know.
If you're not a big NBA star
Yeah.
with $1 million.
Yeah.
It probably sucks.
Yeah,
Well,
I even
Dude.
feel bad for people who are like 6'5". I'm
You
like,
know
man,
what?
that
When
must be rough.
when Yao Ming got drafted by the Houston Rockets, they had to build him a house to his specs. So they actually purposely made the doors taller and everything like that. 'Cause
Seems about right.
otherwise,
Yeah, no, it's a
It's
sucky
not
life, I'm
good,
sure, unless
so.
you're very wealthy.
Yeah, he's one of the greatest centers of all time.
Yeah.
In case you guys don't know, Bill Walton. So yeah,
In the basketball.
in basketball.
In the basketball.
In the basketball.
Do they play sports on ESPN2 still?
Yo!
Heroes
Thought it
of
was
the
only
Dorm.
fighting games
Yo.
and other such things.
No, but it was really
Wrestling.
it was the event was super cool. Super cool.
Fantastic.
Let's talk about each of the games one by one. But you want to take a break?
I do. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we're going to start talking about the actual results.
All right, so be right back, guys.